We'd just finished a late evening walk along the shore, one of our favorite spots when we were a young couple. I reached out to hold her, to share the love I felt for her in that moment. Don't touch me. I'm fat and disgusting, and I'm always going to be fat and disgusting. I don't want you to touch me. My insides turned to ice. All I heard was that she didn't love me, that she didn't want me. Then it sank in. Then I actually understood what she said. Not that she didn't love me, but that she didn't love herself. That's what broke my heart. That's what forced me to go on the journey that changed everything in my life. And now the life of thousands of men and women around the world who learned what I'm about to teach you right now. Because in that moment, I felt a terrible wave of shame rush over me. She was my wife, the woman I promised to protect and take care of. And seeing her standing there in agonizing pain and frustration, I felt powerless and weak and useless in a way I never thought possible. However, in a strange way, the next hour of tears and self-loathing and grabbing hold of the belly fat she hated so much, it was probably the best thing that could have happened to us. Because it led to a strange scientific discovery that has saved the lives of tens of thousands of men and women around the world. A strange scientific discovery that healed my wife's broken body when every doctor and expensive specialist had shaken their heads at us and told us to give up. A secret that caused her belly fat to flatten almost overnight without giving up any of her favorite foods, and even though her aches and pains kept her from doing any exercise more strenuous than walking from the bed to the couch. A secret that brought back our love life after we thought that part of our marriage was completely dead. A secret that saved my friend John from the threat of type 2 diabetes and gave him the ability to enjoy his life for the first time in over a decade. A secret that allowed another friend, Kurt, a borderline obese man who had given up all hope of losing weight and living a long and normal life, to lose an incredible 83 pounds and keep it off for almost 2 years now. A secret that if you just listen closely over the next 6 minutes, discover the shocking truth, and follow exactly what I say, could turn back the clock on your body and your metabolism so you burn fat like a teenager again. All by using this strange scientific secret to do one little thing in the morning that almost automatically forces your body to lose weight, even if you're 20, 50, or even 200 pounds overweight. In fact, it works better if you're at least 10 pounds overweight, even if you simply don't have the time to exercise, or simply can't or don't like to exercise. This strange scientific secret doesn't involve doing anything more difficult than brewing a very special and delicious tea when you get up in the morning. So believe me, this will work for you, even if you feel like you simply can't give up your favorite sweets and comfort foods. It will work for you even if you have failed at diet after diet before, which was definitely not your fault. Oh, and by the way, whatever you're thinking the secret is right now, I promise you're wrong. Because the strange secret we've discovered that helped not only my wife, but thousands of men and women around the world shed pounds like a snake shedding its unwanted skin, roll back much of the damage caused by diabetes and heart disease, and finally make this losing weight and staying healthy thing as easy as it's supposed to be, is something so simple, quick, and easy that you'll be shocked. Listen, the simple strategy I discovered that I'm about to share with you is so powerful that I walked away from my 17-year dream job as a police officer on SWAT so that I could put all my focus on getting this into the hands of everyone who so desperately needs this astonishing weight loss secret. And I'll reveal the exact strategy in just a few minutes. First, you need to understand that Tara had been an athlete her whole life. It was one of the things that made me fall in love with her. How physical and fearless and fit she was, with a body that made her look more like a model than a cop. But since the accident, since that cold, dark, rainy night when her patrol car wrapped itself around a telephone pole, since the broken bones and the battered spine and the constant, terrible, crippling back pain took away every sport and activity she loved so much, everything had changed. It had been years since the crash, years of watching the woman I love struggle and suffer and give up hope, years of watching her sink deeper and deeper into despair as she kept gaining weight no matter how hard she tried not to. Years of feeling so helpless as my happy, healthy wife became someone else, someone I didn't recognize. someone I'm not even sure wanted to keep living. And now, in her 40s, it's like the battle was lost. The weight just kept coming until she had 196 pounds on her 5'11" frame. You have to lose weight, Tara, the doctor had said in a patronizing voice, like he was explaining why being overweight was bad to a 5-year-old. Like she didn't already know. Dangerously close to type 2 diabetes, she said with a cynical laugh on the ride home, taking the news as just one more brick in the wall of self-loathing she'd built around herself. One more piece of evidence that her life was over. Just a few days earlier, she'd been talking to our daughter about the perfect high school graduation day. Now she was joking about not even living to see it, even though it was 2 years away. That night, I lay awake for hours next to Tara, staring at the ceiling and feeling my heart constrict in my chest, imagining life without my wife. Was she right? Was this it? Was this what our life was supposed to be now? I couldn't remember the last time we'd really kissed, never mind made love. I remembered what her laugh sounded like, and I felt like I was going to cry, realizing I hadn't heard it in years. Did I really have to watch her suffer like this? I tossed and turned all night, thinking of our beautiful daughter finishing high school without a mom. But what could we do about it? We'd tried everything over the years. Everything you can do to lose weight that doesn't involve strenuous exercise. Low carb, low fat, paleo, calorie counting, not to mention all the fancy diets like Dr. Bernstein, Atkins, Weight Watchers, Herbal Magic, Jenny Craig. We spent thousands of dollars we couldn't afford on the salary of 2 cops, and nothing worked. No matter how hard we tried, no matter how much money we wasted, no matter how many nutritionists and specialists we saw, nothing worked. In fact, after every single miracle diet, she ended up weighing more than when she started. These extreme diets were putting her body into shock mode, causing her to have uncontrollable cravings that had her raiding the fridge in the middle of the night and sneaking bags of Hershey Kisses. And as the years went by, it just got worse and worse. She got bigger and bigger and sadder, and our marriage became less about love and more about seeing how long we could go without a fight. Lying there, feeling my wife's warm body curled up against me, I knew I could do one of 3 things. 1, I could ignore the thoughts and the fear swirling in my mind. I could watch what was left of the woman Tara used to be fade to be replaced by a shadow with her face. I could watch our marriage crumble to nothing as we headed for the divorce I knew was in our future if we didn't do something. 2, I could get mad and bitter, rage about how unfair it was to have so much taken from us when we had both dedicated our lives to serving and protecting others, and go on antidepressants just to get me through the day. Or I could make the choice I did, the choice to fight for my wife and our family. The choice to discover the truth about the real cause of weight gain and how to stay lean and fit in your 40s, 50s, and beyond, even if you can't or just don't want to exercise. The choice to wake up every morning knowing I had done everything in my power to help the woman I still loved so much live a life as free of pain and as healthy as humanly possible. It was 2 weeks later that the solution literally hit me in the face, and it was one of the most painful experiences of my life. I was working SWAT at the time, rushing to the most dangerous situations in the city, putting my life on the line each and every day. An armed suspect was holding hostages at the top floor of a 20-story building. My job was to lead a team as we rappelled down the side of the building in full gear and hit the guy before he knew what was happening. Well, you know what they say. No plan survives contact with the enemy. We waited for the signal and then rappelled just over the side of the building, our lives literally hanging from one single rappel line. We broke the top 3 windows with a crash and tossed 3 OC pepper spray grenades to subdue everyone inside, and placed another grenade on the deck so the suspect wouldn't come running out and try to escape, or worse yet, throw one of the hostages out, possibly killing him. Just as we were about to enter the building, a massive gust of wind blew a cloud of pepper spray right back in our faces. We were coughing, sniffling, embarrassed, and could barely see. But as professionals, we still got in there and did our job. If you've ever been hit by pepper spray before, it's not a pleasant experience. For the rest of the day, I was coughing and sneezing. Tears were streaming down my face. I felt like my body was on fire inside. I could practically feel the heat radiating off me like a furnace. I felt like I'd just done an intense CrossFit workout and run a half marathon, even though I was just sitting on my couch recovering. And that's when it hit me. I already knew that oleoresin capsaicin, the OC used in pepper spray grenades, could rapidly raise your body temperature. But was it possible that it could actually burn away my wife's belly fat without exercise? Could accidentally getting hit with pepper spray actually be the answer I'd been looking for? It sounded weird, even a little bit dangerous. But then I found an article in the American Journal of Clinical Nutrition that flat out proved my weird idea was actually 100% true. See, in 2012, researchers from the Hokkaido University Graduate School of Medicine ran a weird experiment. First, they put 18 healthy men aged 20 to 32 through 2 hours of cold exposure. Nothing extreme. They sat in a room with a thermostat at 66 degrees Fahrenheit, just cold enough to make the experiment work. You see, cold exposure is a well-known way to dramatically increase energy expenditure through the activation of something called brown adipose tissue. Then later, the researchers simply fed the same men 9 milligrams of capsaicinoids. After both treatments, they measured the men's skin temperature and energy expenditure for 2 hours in a single blind, randomized, placebo-controlled crossover design. What did they discover? That when the men were given the capsaicinoids, as opposed to a placebo, it increased energy expenditure and activation of brown adipose tissue just as much as after the cold exposure. In other words, the capsaicin alone raised the inner thermostat for men, turning their bodies into a veritable fat-burning furnace. But that wasn't all. I also learned how capsaicin could actually transform useless and dangerous white fat into high-octane brown fat that actually burns your ugly white fat for energy, meaning you can actually use your unwanted white fat as fuel instead of burning sugar like most folks do, and that makes it almost impossible to get and stay thin. I don't want to get too scientific here, but the easiest way to picture the way brown fat works is to picture a car with the engine revving and the clutch pedal pushed all the way to the floor. Brown fat uncouples the calorie burning of fat and sugar through the actions of a class of regulating proteins called uncoupling proteins. When the brown fat mitochondria are uncoupled, it's like revving your engine all the way into the red without letting the car go into gear. All of a sudden, you're burning a ton of fat without moving a muscle, losing weight while sitting on your butt and watching TV. That was the good news. The bad news, as I soon discovered, was that the only real source of capsaicin is cayenne pepper. You know, that stuff that makes you sneeze and sweat and wish you could just bury your head in a giant bucket of water until the pain goes away, which is why we use it for those grenades in the first place, to totally incapacitate a criminal. I imagined my beautiful wife with her eyes watering, sweating profusely, and telling me I'd done something horrible to her, and knew that cayenne pepper wasn't going to do the job. I needed to find another spice that would have all the benefits of capsaicin, but could actually be ingested without making you feel like your eyeballs were going to burn through your skull. I spent hours and hours digging through journal after journal, but eventually I broke down into tears when I found it. The holy grail spice that just might save my wife's life. A secret spice I can't reveal to you yet, that turned out to be the holy grail of weight loss we've been looking for decades, and that gave all the incredible benefits of capsicum without any of the terrible and painful side effects. As I finished reading,